Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Politics, Prose, and Pop Culture. I'm Rashonda Tate.
And I'm Victoria Christopher Murray.
And we have managed to squeeze Victoria to push pause just for a minute
Uh,
because you are in the weeds.
I am in the weeds, and I just want people to know we are working authors. And so I didn't even bother to dress up for Shonda. I just had to work, come in here, and I'm going right back to work.
We need to do a future episode of Prose on just the work behind being a working author, really.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
for another day. Right now, today we're going to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein case and the art of distraction, pre-orders, and Carnival Cruises. So let's jump right in at it. And everybody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, but do people really care?
I don't think people really care, but well, some people, I shouldn't say that. MAGA cares because Trump ran on, I'm going to release all these files. And then they got in the files and realized his name was in the files, and they were like, oops, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
And there is lots to see, but not lots that can be proven. So I don't think people care. But it's interesting that we're talking about the art of distraction because Trump has been the master of the art of distraction, and he can't create a distraction with this. He's trying everything.
He's
He's
trying everything. Wait, and here's the thing, he can't distract his own people from it.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He never cares about us.
Yeah.
He can't distract his own people. He's trying to by saying that Barack Hussein Obama had did treason in 2016 or something. He did not. Let's make that clear. But even if he did, he has presidential immunity.
Right.
So thank you, Trump, for that. So he can't do anything about that. But President Obama didn't do anything wrong except for wear a tan suit. He's not successful at distracting this time. He wants us to talk about everything except for Jeffrey Epstein because he knows what he did. And he cannot have that coming out.
Do you think that MAGA wants it so bad because they think it's going to implicate the Clintons or implicate
Yes,
Democrats? And
yes.
so that's why they're pushing for it.
Yes, they're pushing for it because, of course, their dear leader would have never done anything wrong. And they had always heard things about Clinton and, they want Barack in there. They really think it's all about the Democrats. What I love about what the Democrats are doing is saying, okay, y'all made a big deal about this, let's release it. And so yesterday it came out that Clinton had written something in the birthday book. It showed what he wrote, it wasn't anything big. But I don't care who's in there. You know how I feel about this. Because for years, before the Me Too movement, before anything, I've never understood not believing the women, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, I think the Republicans believed that it was going to bring down the Democrats. I think now they're beginning to say, oopsie doopsie. And I don't know how he's going to get out of it because there are some people who are going to have to say they've been for years believing that the Democrats were pedophiles. They're going to have to now say to themselves, okay, that's okay. We don't care who the pedophiles are anymore. And I
Mhm.
think there are MAGAs who are willing to do that.
That's sad. What do you think is going to happen with Maxwell? With now that she's been seen bringing in boxes and they're interviewing her, you think she's going to try and cut a deal?
I mean, she has nothing to lose. She has nothing to lose. She has 20 years. She's a pedophile. To me, she's the worst of it because without Jelaine, I think you pronounce it, Jelaine, without her, Epstein wouldn't have been able to do what he did. And this is what I mean. The girls were all middle school girls, maybe 14, first year and freshmen in high school. And so if the 50-year-old man walked up to a 12-year-old girl and said to her, come back with me to my place, she'd be like, no, you look like my grandpa. No. But when this beautiful middle-aged woman came to them and said, I can make you a star, I can make you into a model, I can give your family money, she was non-threatening. It would
Mhm.
have never happened without her. and she's the worst of the worst. To me, she's worse than Epstein because she was in the room with him, fondling the girls, having sex with them, watching them have sex. It was just the most bizarre stuff. So there's some crazy stuff going on. I think she's going to try to make a deal. I think she's going to say that Trump had nothing to do with it. Then they'll pardon her, and MAGA will be like, oh, well, there really wasn't anything to see here. But there are a couple of MAGA people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who is not going to let this go. So we'll see what happens.
We'll definitely be watching. For me, one of the biggest things I'm watching about is hammering home just how unethical Trump is. Like, we already knew this, but he will go to any lengths to turn the page, to get us looking at something else, from trying to fire the Fed chair, to creating distractions left and right. And we have to stay woke, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. As we say, they don't like woke, but we know why they don't like woke.
Right.
So
we'll be here keeping an eye on it, this whole situation as it unfolds and changes daily. Hopefully, it won't change majorly before our next episode, right? But
right.
Well, switching gears to something that is near and dear to me right now in this very moment, and that is in our pros category. We're talking about pre-orders and the importance of pre-orders. I'm knee deep in it right now, and I talked to everyone trying to get them to pre-order copies of With Love from Harlem, my new book that's coming out. And I think people just don't get it. They're like, "Oh, I'll get it. I'll pre-order it later. Or I'll order it later." And pre-orders determine kind of altitude sometimes for me.
You know what I think about pre-orders and ways people can relate to this, maybe, is the way we ask for people to vote early. You want to vote early to bank the votes, and then the day of the voting, all of that gets combined, and then you have a winner. And that's exactly what happens with pre-orders. You're voting early for this book because you're not paying the money. You don't have to pay the money when you pre-order until the book is shipped. So you're really voting for the book. And what I mean by that is you're showing the publisher that this book is going to be a success, because the publishers look at how many books are pre-ordered in order to determine how many they're going to do for their first printing, what kind of tour is going to be set up for this author, what kind of promotion. That's all based on pre-orders. Pre-orders show interest. And so people are just voting for this book. And people might think, okay, but what does first printing have to do with anything? If a first printing is 10,000 copies, think about the number of stores that are in this country. That means that there'll be, in most stores, the book won't be there. And then the book will only have one, maybe two copies. If a book has 30,000 printing, you have a little bit more chance of a success. And 50,000, you can be a New York Times bestseller. So you're voting for this book. You're voting for this author. Pre-orders is the ultimate way to show support.
And you know this because you've lived this with Harlem Rhapsody. I mean, people just assumed everybody was out there pre-ordering your book. And we found firsthand that wasn't the case.
That was not the case.
You had to work hard for those pre-orders.
And I didn't make the bestsellers list because we didn't have enough pre-orders. You know what was interesting, though? I think people think my one book doesn't count. My one order doesn't make a difference. And Rashonda, there are more people saying my one book doesn't make a difference than there are people saying my one sale will make a difference. And so I just want to be able to get out there, and we have, both of us have a broad audience of white and Black readers. But the thing that makes me sad is that Black readers, because I didn't know, but Black readers are the ones who are least likely to pre-order. And I don't blame the Black readers, because I've been doing this for 28 years and I did not know until Harlem Rhapsody how important pre-orders were.
Wow. Okay. Well, please pre-order With Love from Harlem right now. It is up. You can pre-order wherever you buy.
Wherever you want to buy books, from Amazon, from Barnes & Noble, from independent bookstores. All of those pre-orders count.
And we need it. So,
oh my gosh.
And that's what authors have to do. Authors have to start as explicitly asking the readers to pre-order.
Yes.
So
So
I'm
please
asking
support.
you.
So yeah, so let's make With Love from Harlem the test case that we're gonna make this happen.
I love it. I love it. And before we go, we got to dive right into pop culture real quick. And that is the Carnival Cruises. Now, I haven't been on a Carnival cruise in a while. But I'm gonna tell you, the last time I went, I'm a little seasoned. I want to lay on the deck in peace. But Carnival's known for partying, or were known for partying. What do you think about the changes?
Well, I don't remember all the changes. I think you remember the changes specifically. But one of the things that I think is happening is that they're probably losing people as they get older. As
Mm.
people get older and continue cruising, they're like, okay, I can't do all that noise and everything anymore. So we're trying to list the changes again. Do you have the, because I remember you did an article on it.
Yes, so they've implemented a number of key changes. One that a lot of people have a problem with and think is targeted toward Black people, the fans. Boots on the Ground is one of the biggest songs out there right now. Carnival's like, leave the fans at home. There is no more boots on the ground. You can't have fans. You can't have speakers, because what they're really trying to do is tone it down.
Just tone it down. Now, you can have the portable fans to, women of a particular fantastic age. We need those.
Right.
But they're talking about those big clicking fans that people are like, come on, I'm just trying to sit out on the deck and read.
Yeah. They're also changing the drink package, because the partying, they're known for partying, but add party with that unlimited drink package, and it adds for chaos, because a number of the fights you've seen on Carnival Cruises come, because they've been in that unlimited drink package. So they're toning that down. They're also toning down the age requirement where the kids can roam free. Now, when I did take Carnival, I love being able to let my kids just roam free, but they're putting a curfew in and everything.
Yeah, because the people don't know how to act,
Right.
and the biggest thing you just said there, the number of fights you've seen. Like, I don't go on, I'm a grown woman. I don't see fights. I just don't even understand how anybody sees. We're not in middle school in the playground. And so, what kind of fight should adults be having? I do not blame Carnival for any of these changes. People think that it's targeted towards Black people. I think it's targeted for anybody who's going to act crazy.
And there's zero tolerance on marijuana. I mean, I understand
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be laying on the deck, getting high because the person next to me is getting high.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And then the hip hop and the rap music. So, I don't know that they're specifically targeting, or I don't think they're specifically targeting Black people. They want you to have fun, they want your money, but they want, as their motto says, have fun and be safe.
Yeah. So I don't think the people are saying that. That wasn't a policy, right?
So no, it's not. They saying the rumors that they've banned hip hop and rap music. They have not. What they've done is they've toned back some of the ones that make us act a fool, which are like the boots on the ground. They're not banning them. The DJs can play what they want, but they're
Yeah.
just toning back all around, which I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure they're toning it back. I think they might be saying, let's have a variety of music.
Yeah.
I don't think they're toning back anything. Let's just have a variety of music. And what I had read, not part of the policy. That's something that people are saying, and I think it might be misinformation.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, as you're sharing all of these changes, as you're sharing anything really, investigate on your own, because Carnival said, there was a bunch of social media saying, oh, they banned hip hop, and they haven't. And
They did
people
not.
can run with it. So investigate before sharing.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is just, if they're doing anything at all,
Mhm.
if they're doing anything at all, because they're leaving it up to the DJ. So some DJs may prefer hip hop, some may prefer other things. I think that might be misinformation.
Yeah. All right. Well, all I know is, let me go on Royal Caribbean, but now I need to lay back in peace and quiet and just hear the birds.
That's right. That I want to read in peace. It's my only reading time.
But we'll send the young people on Carnival. We just want them to do it, have fun, and be safe.
The price is right.
All right. Well, that is it for this edition of Politics, Prose, and Pop Culture. We'll see you next time.
That's right. Bye.